Hello YouTube, my name's Jason, and this is Learn. So, let's go ahead and give it a couple more behaviors. Let's give it a public void start playing behavior, and give it a also an int x parameter if x equals 0. Also, each time you declare this right here, it's just pulling it from right here off of your parameters. So, now we're going to say playing equals playing. Else, if playing isn't true, if x is not 0, then playing, you gotta actually give it a behavior. Playing equals not playing. End it with a semicolon. Okay, we've created that much. Now we want it to show up on the screen. So we're going to give it one more behavior. Public void. Whoa, spelled it wrong too. Public void print music. Let's go ahead and curly braces, say system dot out dot print line, and we're going to say status space plus. When you do this plus symbol right here in between this and this, it just means it's going to give it this, and we're going to give it the status plus playing plus playing. Let's end it with a semicolon. Okay, we've created a second class called piano.java, and we basically give it behaviors. But as you can see, if we run it, it'll run, but nothing happens. See, build successful. So how would you run a object? Well, when you go to run an object, all you would do is go piano 1 dot, and as you can see on NetBeans, it actually gives you an options. So I could go, these right here are variables, you can tell because they don't have the semicolons at the end. But what we're going to be looking for is our turn on, see? And then we got to give it a parameter to send, so we'll just send 1, and then we'll create another one. This actually gives it a behavior now. It isn't going to print anything on the screen, so we need to also go ahead and start. So our start playing, we'll throw a 1 on this one. And then let's do a system.out.print line. Let's say piano 1. This way we know which one's which. End it with a semicolon, and then let's do also piano 1 dot print music. Okay, now what happens if we run it? Say we run it, and as you can see it says the status of piano 1 equals turned off, and it is not playing. Let's change this to a 0, and as you can see it's turned off but it's playing. Whoa, what's the deal with that? Let's go ahead and give it a second variable. You can't play a piano without it running, right? Without turned on. So let's say, and let's go down here to our start playing and say, and status equals on. Okay, now let's see. Let's see if we made some sort of change. Okay, now you can see just with that simple little change of giving it that second little behavior saying that if x equals 0, it is playing, but it also has to have the status of being on. And that is why it's not playing anymore. Now let's turn the piano on and run it. Now if we turn it on, it is playing and it is turned on. Okay, now let's go to our next step. Okay, now we're going to go over inheritance. Inheritance is, it allows one class to inherit from another class. And how would you identify that? Well, let's say we create another class. And let's call this class instruments. Okay, let's go ahead and capitalize that and finish. In the instruments class, we would just, let's say we take the turn on. Let's take the turn on and we'll cut this out. Control X. We cut that out and we move it to the instruments class. And we'll just take it and we'll just throw it over here. Control B. Okay. We also need to take our status and we need to cut it, cut, and we need to bring it over here. Alright. Now let's say we're getting a couple errors in here. Why is this? Well, to officially do this, you would actually have to inherit from it. So what you would write is extends instrument. And what it's saying is piano extends the instruments class, and as you can see now, the status is actually running again. And what it's doing, it's inheriting everything from this instruments class, and now piano has the ability to use all of its information. So let's go ahead and run it one more time and see if everything's still at hand. No, apparently it's not. Run anyways. Let's see where our error is. Let's go ahead and throw a static in here. Okay, that didn't. That was a fail. Oh wait, no it wasn't. Static. Static. Tick. Now let's try running it. There we go. As you can see, because I had to put the static on this, just means that it can actually pull it from over here. Anyways, we'll go over static later on, but that's how you inherit it. This inherits from the instrument class, and then we printed it on the screen.